Hello, hello. Welcome to N-Dowd Empire, where we help you manifest your goals to lift up your soul. We are excited to have Brittany Turner on today, where we will be discussing her journey for weight loss. And also, please remember, if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Also, this is interactive. Please share your comments, questions, all that. We love to hear it. Be back soon. Hey, Brittany.
Hi,
Thank you so much for coming on.
you're welcome. Thank you for inviting me.
No problem. So I actually found out about you through one of my members, Jay Payton,
Hmm.
and she kept uploading your videos. And at first, it was like videos of you exercise. It just seemed so random. And I was like, my private group is like, all about. I'm always encouraging people to so uplifting material, and stuff like that. And then she showed like one of your videos where you were in the car and you was just sharing some really motivational information. So I was like, who is this girl? Like, who are you? And she was like, oh, it's Brittany. She's so inspiring. You definitely need to hit her up.
Yeah.
So thank you so much. Brittany was like, yeah, I'll do it. I was
Yeah.
like, yeah. So thank you for coming. And when I started going through your videos and everything, I was really impressed by because we're all about affirmations here and positive thinking. Like I saw the video where you were meditating, doing guided meditation.
Hmm.
So how long you been doing that?
So it's only been about 3 to 4 months.
Okay.
I got into it with my coach, who is Coach Stormy.
Hmm.
So she does her coaching group, and I got into it because she all of a sudden got on Instagram one morning and she started meditating. I
Hmm.
did it with her and I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But then after the fact, when she didn't do it on Instagram anymore, it was like, no, I need that. Like, I have
Hmm.
to get into that. So when I started doing it, it was very unfamiliar to me.
Hmm.
But now it's like I can't go through my day without meditating. And
Yeah.
I find myself in like different situations, different conversations, different things that would normally frustrate me, and now I know how to go to my center. Know how to go to my happy place, and not get frustrated about certain things that used to frustrate me in the past.
Right, right. One thing about meditation, when you first started, you think all kind of thoughts, right?
Mhm. Yes.
So that was a video I posted with this girl. She's like having all these random thoughts, but I just tell you, you just gotta stick with it, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and eventually it'll all come together.
It's definitely a journey, because
Hmm.
it's like you don't sit silently during your whole entire day. The only time
Right.
people are really silent is when they're
Hmm.
about to go to bed. But then you think a lot. So when you sit down to actually meditate, you have to center all of your thoughts. Everything has
Hmm.
to go out the window, and you have
Hmm.
to be relaxed and just focus. And
Right.
it's hard to quiet your mind down and focus
Hmm.
and see yourself on the canvas of your own imagination when you have all these different thoughts that's going through your head. That's why I like that we actually meditate first thing in the morning, because I don't get a chance to scroll on my phone just yet. I don't get a chance to talk to the people that's in my house. I don't get a chance to, deal with the outside world. It's
Right.
like the moment my alarm goes off, I get up for meditation and we go straight
Hmm.
into it.
How do you think that's helped you with your journey since you started your weight loss journey 6 months ago?
Overall, I think it's really, really helped me, because I am more calm.
Mm,
I don't get frustrated a lot now, so it's like I can always go back into my happy place. But when I start my day off with meditation,
mm,
it's like it just sets the tone for my whole entire day.
right.
Like, and then especially for like the first 2 hours, it's like I can't handle somebody coming at me like with a lot of excitement, and I'm in this chill, relaxed mode. So it's like when I see somebody else and they all this excitement or they all a ball of frustration, it's like, oh,
Mm,
you need to meditate.
right. You can
Get up
feel
on the
that
wrong side.
energy.
Like, no,
Uh,
it helps a lot.
right, right. So a little background on you. Where are you from?
I'm originally from Mississippi.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now
I'm in California now.
you're in California. How you liking it?
I love it. Like at first I was homesick, and I would go
Hmm.
back every few months. I would go back and I would stay for like a week, 2 weeks,
Hmm.
whatever.
Yeah.
Now it's like after 3 days, it's like, what am I doing? I need to go back to California where there's no bugs.
Right. Exactly. The heat.
Yes, I can wear my hair straight if I want to.
Exactly.
Yes.
So 6 months ago, you started your weight loss journey. What specifically happened to make you be like, enough? Like, I need to take this seriously.
So at first, it was like always just a goal to lose weight, but it was just something that I was just saying to myself, like, I really want to lose weight. I want to lose weight. I want to lose weight. But then
Hmm.
it's like I would go to my closet and I would put my clothes on and I wouldn't be happy in the clothes that I was wearing. And
Hmm.
everybody does it. Like you go and you pull out 7, 10 different outfits and nothing fits,
Hmm.
nothing works, nothing, you just don't feel good. So
Right.
for me, I started to really get into that sense of not feeling good. And
Hmm.
so it was like I have to do something about it. So when I started taking these products that I use, these products like they really helped me to start dropping the weight.
Hmm.
So after that, it was like, no, you gotta work out, you gotta eat healthy, you have to stick to a goal. And with me having my team behind me and all the people who support me, just like Jay Payton,
Hmm.
it's like they keep me going, because if she's not on my live or if I don't show up today, what if she shows up and I didn't show up for myself?
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to let nobody down. So I
Yeah.
gotta keep going.
Yeah, I find when I talk to people that are, because I mean, this is like a huge task. Like in 6 months, you've lost 57 pounds, and just watching your videos on your grind and everything, I feel like it's more of a mental thing
Hmm.
than anything. And it's like, the hardest part is the drive, like, or I guess making it a habit, right? Like,
Yes.
yeah. So what do you do? I know you have the group support, but like when you first started, before you started getting the group, what did you have to do mentally?
I had to pretty much push myself, because me growing up, I used to be a dancer.
Yeah.
And so I remember how we would have these long practices and I
Hmm.
would never be tired. Like, even at the end of practice, I would still be ready to run through another dance if I was asked to. Or I would go home and just run around the house, or I want to go outside. Like, I was never tired.
Hmm.
So as I got older, it was just like, I'm tired all the time, and it's the weight. Like, the weight has to come off. So when I first started exercising, it was like, no, you remember how you used to be back then when you would dance, and how you would have all the endurance and
Hmm.
how you would have the stamina. The breathing processes will be better than what they are. So it's like you can get back to that place. You just have to keep pushing yourself. And it's like day one is always the hardest.
Yeah.
So I'm like, if you could keep going, you can eventually do some of the stuff that you were not able to do on day one.
Right.
Like I could lift my legs up 5 times on day 1. By day 30, by day 60, day 70, it's like I can lift my legs up 10 to 15 times now. So it's like
Hmm.
it gets better. You just got to stick to it. So I had to literally keep pushing myself and telling myself like you could do this.
Yeah, yeah. Our viewer Cleveland, he said the hardest thing is starting. He buff, honey. So he know all about being in the gym and being active. He pushes me.
Yes.
uh, so when you say you were a dancer, so as you started to gain weight, like was it something that it was like, okay, this is happening, but I'm not really bothered because thickness is in. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, I'm liking this little, and then you just looked up and all of a sudden you weren't where you wanted to be.
Mm-hmm. It
Yeah.
was exactly like that. So
Hmm.
it was like for me, like I stopped dancing and I started working because
Yeah.
I was hitting that age. Parents was like, you gotta make something happen. So I started working, and then it
Hmm.
was like with the jobs that I had, we sat around a lot. Everybody talked a lot. Everybody bought food. So it was like I didn't realize that I had to wait until after I had to wait, and then it's like
Hmm.
now. I gotta get it off. Like you don't realize it while you in it, you having fun, but then
Right.
you also have to take back like when I was smaller, I was a lot more active. And now I'm
Hmm.
in these jobs, these positions to where I'm sitting at a computer all day and I got food
Hmm.
next to me. It makes it hard. It makes
Yeah.
it hard.
Yeah. So did you also how did you change your diet?
So now with my diet, I try to eat more fish. I try to juice more. I eat more fruits, more vegetables. And a lot of people think that when you change your eating habits that it's hard. And it
Hmm.
is tough to stay
Hmm.
on that.
Yeah.
But when you actually start being focused on what you eat, you start craving those things and how to make those things that you didn't really like, how to make them taste better. And it's like you can mix and mesh things together to give it different flavors. So it's fun experimenting when you actually really get into it.
Yeah. And then finding like all the different types of fruits uh,
Mm-hmm.
that you wasn't even checking for before. I know. When I became
Not
a
at all.
vegan, I was like, oh, I didn't even know about this stuff.
Not at all.
Right, Whole Foods, it's like a whole world.
Yes.
Trader Joe's. So with the workouts, with you working out, when you do hit, because in the beginning, like you said, you could maybe only do 5 push-ups. For me personally, it was five. How do you push through like that wall when it gets so hard and you start thinking negative thoughts like, I don't want to finish this.
So it's always that middle part. That
Right.
middle part is the toughest because when you
Hmm.
first start out, you like, oh, I got the energy, but then 5 minutes pass, you like, oh no, I don't want to do this no more.
Exactly.
Like call it quits.
Yes.
But the one thing that made me keep going is I started turning my live on. So I started working out on live. And like you could always be like, oh, nobody's watching me. Like, let me just stop.
Hmm.
Somebody always watching. So it's like you
Right.
can't. You can't. And
Right.
then it's like at the end of the day, I want to be able to save my video and be proud of myself that I actually pushed through, that I actually finished.
Hmm.
It's not fun to be like, oh, I cut the camera off and I'm not proud because I didn't finish. So it's like now it's like I gotta finish strong. And at the end of the day, when I don't die,
Right.
it's a good day.
Yeah, 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 yeah. When she showed her videos, like at the end of it, she is drenched in sweat. Like this is really happening. Like it's not a game.
Yes.
So, and that's a good point too, because I noticed too when I work out with somebody else, because I will cheat if I'm by myself. But if it's with somebody else, you like, no, I gotta keep up. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna get
Yeah.
this done. So
Yeah.
you only work out at home or you go to the gym? Oh, well, now ain't nobody go to the gym, right?
I want to go to the gym, but it's
Right.
like, no, I'm good. I figure it out at home until we can go back to the gym or until I can
Mhm.
put a gym in my house.
Oh yeah, because when you started at like the height of the
Uh-huh.
pandemic, right? When everything was shut down.
Yep.
And that's the time where you was really with your thoughts and reflect. Every all of us
Yep.
we're sitting and reflecting on our thoughts. So what is this? You have a lot of businesses. I clicked I clicked on your link tree. It was like all this stuff you have going
Yep.
on. So we got this entrepreneur. So what do you have going on?
So first thing first, I sell cars.
Mm-hmm.
So I sell cars. I've never sold cars before, but over the past year and a half, I've sold over 200. No
Wow.
experience, never applied for the job, none of that.
Uh-huh. Right.
So that's one thing. I sell cars, and then I also do health and wellness products. So those are the products that I'm on, the products that I take
Mm-hmm.
with my team and everything. So that's one thing. That's TLC.
Mm-hmm.
Then also I do hair. I have my gift basket business. I make T-shirts,
Wow.
bracelets, some of everything.
Wow.
So yeah.
So how do you balance everything on top of focusing on yourself? Because I'm big on self care, and it's like when you have so much going on, you usually put
Mhm.
yourself last, right?
It's tough. It's tough.
Mm-hmm.
Cause it was like when everything started falling into place. Before this, I was actually homeless. Before all of this, I was actually homeless. And so it was like within 3 months, God took away everything that I was holding on to,
Yeah.
and I thought that was the worst place of my life. I was like really, really low, like down, depressed, overweight, everything.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like to me, I had to come out of it. But I now realize that the life that I prayed for came to me through a struggle,
Mm-hmm.
because God, I literally was holding on to a car that my car note was like 376. I was doing Uber. I was running, like I ran up 95,000 miles on the car, like a brand new car, doing Uber.
Right.
Car went out, transmission went out. I couldn't make that right now money.
Yeah.
I lost my stepdad to cancer. It was just so much stuff
Wow.
going on all
Mm-hmm.
around the same time.
Yeah.
So it was just a really, really low place in my life, and I went homeless after that.
Wow.
So it was like I had to figure out something. Something had to move, something had to shake. So
Mm-hmm.
God ended up taking everything away from me that I was holding on to, and I'm grateful that he did, because he replaced it all within 3 months. Like
Yeah.
I had a roof over my head, I had a car, I had, actually I was walking to work. So when I
Mm-hmm.
started selling cars, I was walking to work to go sell people cars. So
Wow.
it was like, in my lowest place of life, I didn't have a car, I didn't have a job, and then God gave me both in the same sentence, like
Mm-hmm.
in the
Yeah.
same situation. He
Yeah.
put me in position to get everything that I lost right back. And I'm so thankful and I'm grateful, because a year ago it was not this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, how did you get the job selling cars? How did that happen? It was like just some random
So I put
one.
I put my resume on Indeed, and we had just got our apartment.
Mm-hmm.
And the city that I lived in, I had not been looking for jobs there. Like I was just used to going to do Uber in San Francisco, but
Right.
now I'm 70 miles away from San Francisco. So I put my resume on Indeed, and the guy
Mm-hmm.
who called me, he had a really thick accent. He was from Africa, like Cameroon. And so
Okay.
I couldn't understand nothing but the city that I live in.
Yeah.
So he was like, just come in. So I was like, okay. So I went for the interview, and I saw it was a dealership. And I was like, they probably gonna make me the receptionist. So I
Right.
was like, okay, cool, whatever they give me, I'll accept it. I need money, like I need a job. And he
Yeah.
was like, no, like we're giving you a sales position. And I was like, well, how did you find me? He said, Brittany, when I walked in this morning, somebody put your resume on my desk. So he don't know how he got the resume. And then he himself was hired a week before me. And then right after I was hired, he was let go a month later. So
Yeah.
that was like my way in.
Wow.
So
Talk about
200 bars
chances.
later, I'm thankful.
Yeah. And it's interesting. I was having a conversation with someone today about this, how it's like when we look back on how we were gotten opportunities, the way that things are set up, it's like it was set up for us. Like even though we don't understand it at the time, it's like it always happens the way that it's supposed to. And it's like so like that's magical. Like that's miracle. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I see that you're also big into affirmations like me. So is
Yes.
that something that you also found when you started doing the guided meditations?
So it more so became when I started doing the meditations, but these were things that I had to tell myself to make myself feel better every single day and keep pushing and keep going.
Yeah,
Because if you don't constantly remind yourself that you got to stay focused, that you got to stay determined, that you got to stay motivated, that everything you has is within you, and
yeah,
speak this stuff to yourself, you
mm,
not nobody, the world will beat you down.
right.
Like all it takes is one phone call to change your mood. But you have to
Hmm.
be that one person to be like, no, like you really have what you have to succeed, to prosper. Everything that you need is already within inside you. Like
Yeah,
don't let the world, the outside world beat you up or any of that. Like you have what it takes inside of you already. So
yeah,
tell yourself, at the end of
hmm,
the day, all you got is you. When
right.
they put you in that pine box, it's
Hmm.
you, nobody else.
Right.
You came in this world by yourself and you're going to leave the world the same. So
Hmm.
get centered with yourself. You have to remind yourself.
Yeah. So do you like do you do journaling? Do you put notes on the wall? What do you do? What's your
I do
thing?
some of everything. I even write
Okay.
on my bathroom mirrors.
Mhm.
I do some of everything.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
with the journals, I try my best to start a journal every January 1st. And
Okay.
then I like to go back the last week of the year. I like to go back and reread my journal.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for your well, you're putting in there what you want to accomplish for that year. The your journaling on
Mhm.
the first is like this year I'm going to do this and this and this. Okay. Yeah, I need to get into journaling. It's the hardest thing for me. I don't know why, but I've heard a lot of people say good things about it. So
Yeah.
how do you figure out? I think for me, it's like it's so overwhelming what to put down because it's like so much I do want to do.
So
So
that's the thing. When you start writing, just let it flow.
okay.
Because the one thing that I do like about writing stuff down is
Hmm.
that during the day you'll have all of this stuff in your head and it
Yeah.
drives you crazy because you constantly sit there and remember it. You keep repeating it to yourself all day long. But if
Right.
you have these thoughts and you write them down, it's like, oh, it's out of my head. I can always
Mhm.
go back and look at it. I can always go back and read it. I don't have to keep constantly reminding myself because I wrote it down.
Right. Right.
So, like, for me, when I started journaling, it was like I would take at the beginning of the year, I will always write like what I want to do, what I want to accomplish for the whole year. But
Hmm.
then after that, I would just take it day by day. What happened
Hmm.
today? What did I overcome today? What things happened today? Like who did I talk to today? Like what changed me today? Like what decisions did I make? Like and just keep going day by day. And then at the end of the year I go back and I read it and I see how far I've grown, what I've accomplished. I read what I wrote for the beginning of the year. Did I accomplish all those things?
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So, how do you handle negative comments? Like people that, got stuff to say.
It's whew, it's still a learning experience for me.
Hmm.
But now, instead of like initially responding, because I still get that feeling in the pit of my stomach, I still get that feeling in my chest, I
Yeah.
still get that feeling in my head, like say
Hmm.
something, respond. But
Yeah.
then it's like, no, that person is not worth your time. Like
Hmm.
they're not on the level that you on, and you
Hmm.
about to spend 20 to 30 minutes arguing with somebody when you could
Hmm.
have just blocked it out, cancel and delete, and
Right.
went on about your day.
Yeah.
I had to learn that like super tough because I would literally sit there for 30, 40 minutes. And
Hmm.
then after that, it's like that throws your whole mood off for the rest of the day.
It does. Yep.
You should never allow nobody to have that much power over you.
Hmm.
Ever.
It's so true. Uh, Craig says, remember the words of Lord Jesus' name. I don't know how to pronounce his name too loud too. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step.
Yes.
So true. So true. And then too, so when you have went through the homelessness, like did you consider going back to Mississippi? Like, yeah, it was like not.
No. Cause,
Hmm.
cause like people say like, oh, California is expensive, but
Yeah,
it's like I've learned how to survive and it's expensive. Like it's a two total difference.
yeah.
Like in Mississippi, I had a beautiful apartment for $800. Out
Hmm.
here, a decent apartment is like 2,000, 3,000. Like it's no
Right,
joke.
right,
But I learned how to survive here, so it was like I couldn't. I had to make it work. Like God brought me to California for a reason, and
hmm.
I had to figure out that reason. And now it's like I figured it out. Now I'm thriving, so
Yeah,
I'm loving it.
that's you. You're out there by yourself. Yeah, girl, you
I'm
working.
out. Well, I came out here by myself, but
Mhm.
my mom originally lives here, and my her side of the family lives here. So I came out here not knowing anyone but my mom.
Right.
So now I take care of her. So that's a blessing in its own, because when I first came out here, it was her and my stepdad. And
Yeah,
then a few, like 2 years later, he ended up being diagnosed with cancer, and he didn't last long after that. So
yeah,
it's like I took her under my wing, and now I'm thankful. Like that
hmm,
was the reason I came out here, to help her,
yeah,
and now I'm taking care of her and finding out what I like. So
yeah. So. With this whole discussion of setting the weight, I didn't want it to just be about like physical weight. I also
mhm.
want it to be like about like mental weight and sometimes friends weight. And so because it's like when you go through a transition, you do have to shed a lot of things. So
Yes.
I know earlier you were saying like you have a really amazing circle now, but I'm sure it wasn't always like that. So I wanted to talk a little bit about like, especially when it comes to people who are close to you,
Mhm.
like how do you navigate being selective with your circle?
I tune people out really, really well.
Okay.
Like even if it's going on around me, I've
Yeah.
always been that person that's like, I'm in my phone, I'm in my thoughts, I'm in my journals, I'm off to the side, like I'm not really worried about what's going on. And it's like
Hmm.
I try to help when I can, but when it's too much to where I can't help, I can't involve myself.
Right.
So I try my best to, like, tune people out. And
Hmm.
then when I've gathered enough information to where I can give you something motivational,
Yeah.
then I'll insert myself. But other than that, it's like I have to focus on me. And if it doesn't help me grow in the direction that I need to go, then I gotta let it go.
Oh, girl, you just spit a verse.
It,
Yes.
it's so real. It's so
Right.
real.
Right, because you don't realize like how people can really hold you back with their negativity. I mean, and some of them, it's not even like they're being ill will. It's just that
Yes.
they're going through a lot, but it's like you try to grow. So
Yes.
it's like, yeah, you do have to create this fine balance of like, okay, I need to focus on me.
Right. So
Yeah.
no, like when I first started selling cars, people were telling me, well, when I was thinking about going to a put, like not even when they gave me the job and I started telling everybody like, hey, like this is what I'm gonna do. They were
Hmm.
like, no, you don't want to do that. Selling cars is tough. This and that. You're not gonna have no benefits. You're not gonna, and everything that people told me, it was the exact opposite. So it
Mm-hmm.
was like I would have never known that I could sell over 200 cars unless I tried. And
Right.
then people were saying like, "Oh, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough." I sold my first car on my third day, and after that,
Wow.
it just kept going.
Yeah.
By my third month, I was already on 44 cars. Like,
Wow.
so it was just like it was just super easy. And they told me when I first came in, they were like, people trust women more than they trust men to purchase a car. So I was like, okay, well, you already told me I got what it takes. So just train me. Tell me what I need to do. And
Right.
then when I got through the doors, they were like, just make people like you and make people like the car. I have no clue about none of these cars. I just hop in them and act like they mine. I play
Right.
around with the buttons, and then when you come, I just be myself. I'm like, hey,
Right.
you like the card? That's it.
Right. Right.
And
Yeah.
like people around me just made it seem like it was just so hard. It was so
Hmm.
stressful. And then I've had 20 month card.
Right.
It's easy.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? Because I hate going to a car lot because the way that people come on, like they're either very aggressive
Mhm.
or they talk to you like, you don't know nothing, you need to listen to me type of attitude. Or so I think probably with you is the fact that you're genuine.
It is because
And that's
you
so
my
rare.
friend. At the end of the day, you got. I don't call people from my work like the
Mhm.
work phones. I call people from my cell phone, and I'm like, hey, this is my cell phone number. So call me, text me, whatever you want to do.
Right.
Like, just let me know. And at the end of the day, if you don't want to talk, then cool. I still got a lot of relationships with a lot of my customers, like
Mhm.
personal relationships, and like we've built friendships and stuff. Like
Wow.
one of the ladies, she came in a dealership and she had her son with her, and he was
Mhm.
like 4 years old. This was Valentine's last year. He
Yeah.
took me. That was my Valentine's. He took me out, and he
Oh,
was like, "Can you go to lunch?" And I was like, "Yes, I can go
yeah.
to lunch."
Yes.
And we still talk. Like every time she goes off into a new business, every time I go off into a new business, it's like we
Mhm.
connect. Once I meet somebody, it's like you're not just a stranger, like you're family.
Yeah.
So that's how I treat people.
Yeah. I also want to touch on this might be a little controversial, but now we're all about, loving your self body image, which I love, love, love. But at the same time, I feel like we also need to have a message of just being healthy. And it doesn't even have to be about like you got to be extremely skinny because let me tell you, Lizzo, I can't dance and play a flute and do a whole. Okay,
Yeah.
homegirl is in shape.
Yeah.
So for you, like, how do you deal with positive self body image? Like, what is that to you?
Pretty much you just have to learn to love yourself,
Mm-hmm.
because at the end of the day, if you don't love yourself, nobody else will love you. So
Right.
you have to learn how to love yourself, and you have to envision what you want yourself to be like further ahead,
Right.
because the version you are right now, you're not going to stay that person. You either going to get worse or you're going to get better. Which one do you want to choose? So if you
Mm-hmm.
want to get better, you keep working on it. And it's a progress. Like it's a process that you have to go through to make yourself better. So you have to eventually love yourself as you go. It's hard, but you
Yeah.
have to do it.
Yeah. I know I was reading somewhere somebody was like, look in the mirror and just like, naked. No, I think it was Nisa. She told me she looks at herself naked. She appreciates every curve, dimple, wrinkle, whatever. Like you just really have to get to the point where you love, your
Hmm.
body.
Yeah.
And as I guess it's changing, embrace it too. Because I have heard have you heard of body dysmorphia? Where it's like people are losing weight, but they're still seeing
Mhm.
themselves.
Yeah.
It's like a real that yeah. Hmm. And
Yeah.
that probably comes from the fact that it's like a mental thing where they're kind of, I guess they're stuck in the past. Is that how it works? Like they're.
Well, I've seen it being in the health and wellness company. I've seen
Mhm.
it more so to where it's like people will lose weight and then they're still fixated on all of the flaws that they still have. And they're
Okay.
like, oh, because I was fat, that this is why I still have this, or oh, this is where the fat is, and stuff
Okay.
like that. So
Mhm.
it's like you have to get over that and see that you've come very, very far, and you have to learn to love the journey.
Mm.
Because like people tell me all the time, like you just need to let it hang out. Well, I'm not comfortable letting it hang out just yet.
Right.
But when I'm down, it's like I'll show you all of that. But right now, it's
Yeah.
like I'm not comfortable. But
Right.
yeah.
What you comfortable with, girl? And let me tell you, when I went to Trinidad, I saw they don't care, and I
No.
was loving it. I was like, I need this kind of confidence in my
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
you know, and I love how you say like have fun with the journey, enjoy the journey, because I think that's where too a lot of us fall short is that we're so focused on the end part, and it's like we get frustrated that it's taking so as long as longer than what we want. And I like too, like even with your company, your business, it's not like this whole lose weight fast type scheme that you have going on. It's like work. Like we are putting in work, we are eating right. Like this isn't like a something simple. It's not a simple fix. It takes real dedication.
Because if you try to do it simple, you're going to gain it right back because you didn't learn the disciplines along the way.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Well, let us know where we can find you, follow you.
Everything is I am Brittany Turner. So my Facebook is Brittany Turner. Instagram I am Brittany Turner.
Mhm.
TikTok I am Brittany Turner. Everything's
Okay.
I am Brittany Turner.
See everywhere, y'all. She about to be too.
Yeah.
About to have Brittany turn to you too. So thank you so much for being here. I really appreciated this
Thank you
discussion
for
with
inviting
you.
me.
And everyone else that's watching, please share your advice or tips if you're going through a similar situation, what you guys do to lose weight. And I will actually, I'm going to be posting your pages on the links for,
Okay.
so you guys can definitely make sure you follow her journey. She's so motivational and inspiring and wise. So yeah, I can't wait to see where Brittany Turner is in another 6 months or a year, because I feel like it's about to be big, honey. All right. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.
Bye.